Hello everyone, welcome to your channel Data Guy, and I'm your friend Data Guy. I'm the host here and I welcome everyone. This is the channel where we live, breathe and talk about data and data analysis. Our approach is very simple, and that is to set the foundation, especially for people who are just getting started in the field of data analysis. So we're taking a very baby step approach, learning the basics, the foundation, setting up the foundation. And we have, in our previous videos, we have done videos like VLOOKUP, power, pivot table, etc. Today, I'm very excited to talk about the Excel function Power Query. And again, we'll be taking a very step-by-step approach with beginners in mind. So let's go. See. So just a brief intro and background about the Power Query, right? So what is Power? You may have heard about Power Query and maybe you have never heard of it. So Power Query was introduced as an Excel add-in function back in 2013. And it became really a game changer around 2016 Excel and later versions. And if you remember, this is the time where data started becoming more and more. I mean, the term data, everything data. This is when you start hearing these things, and we starting to deal with the data much more than we ever used to before in the past, right? So it was never so much data now. So with Microsoft created this Power Query to make data extraction, transformation, and automation easier than ever. Before, just few rows of data, it wasn't that much of a big deal. But when we're talking hundreds and thousands of rows of data, this is when this Power Query became very important and start playing a very significant role. So, and the good thing is you don't need to know any coding skills, and you will see when we actually dive into it. So this is today's one of the powerful tool for data analyst, and it allows you to connect, clean, and reshape data effortlessly. In this video, we're going to show you the basic of Power Query to set the foundation and how you can use it to transform messy data into actionable insights. So let's dive in. Let's see, what is Power Query. You may have heard of this term called ETL, right? So Power Query is an ETL tool, which is the ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. This was developed by Microsoft. It helps users import, transform, and load data from various sources like databases, web pages, and Excel files. And it streamlines data analysis and preparation. So what are the benefits of Power Query? It is very user-friendly interface, simplifies data transformations without coding, automated data refresh, update data with a single click, makes a data consolidation, merge and append data sets efficiently, and advanced data transformation, filter, pivot, and clean data with ease. So here, these are just the steps, but we will actually do a demo, and we will actually create Power Query. So just hang tight with me. So what are these steps? It is basically you go to an Excel file, you go to the data tab, click on the get data, and then this is where you will see how many options are available. You can connect to Excel files. Let's say you have two separate Excel sheets that you have some data, then you need to put them or merge them together on one. You can do that. Or you have maybe a URL, a website, where you can extract the data easily and build your reporting on that. So even pictures, you have a picture with some data on it, you can actually extract data from there. So it's just amazing the functions available. Then transforming data in Power Query, right? So again, like you have heard me saying in my previous videos also, that the clearer the data you have, the best results you're gonna get. So I'm always making sure transforming the data and removing anything that you don't need that may cause issues with when you're actually doing some kind of data analysis. So those filter rows based on conditions, if you have any certain conditions, again, like removing the duplicates, etc. Change data types for consistency. So you may have a currency field, so making sure you change the data type to be a currency, or if it's a date function field, you want to make sure it's date. So when you are doing any kind of timeline charts, etc., it considers it as date. And then track and modify transformation using applied steps pane. So these are again the steps lined up. We will go through them, but basically the idea here is if you have two Excel files that have some data. So let's say you have one file that have a sales and the other that actually have the information about the products. So you may have received a file from a vendor and you have received a file from your sales department, but now you need to put them together. And this is the example we're going to use in a minute to see how easily by using this Power Query you can merge those data sets into one and build your reporting and do your analysis, etc. So that's what these steps are talking about here. And loading data, analyzing. So again, this is like we're talking about the steps. So these are the other steps you will do. As I mentioned in my if you have watched my previous videos, the approach I'm taking here, that I put some slides together to kind of walk through these steps. So you may feel like we're a step ahead here. All these steps we're talking, but we have not done anything. The whole idea is to at least first mentally understand what those steps are, so it makes sense when we actually make those files, or we actually work on these functions or functionalities. You kind of resonate, what are we really trying to do here. So so if some of you may be starting to watch me first time here, you're thinking, okay, we're already talking about all these steps, but we haven't done a single part. And my approach is, if we go back and forth switch between PowerPoint and Excel, it may even confuse more. So that's why I'm just going through the steps really quickly, what those are. So when we are doing those steps, you may be able to recall that, yeah, we talked about these things. All right, so in the conclusion, it will be, the Power Query is a powerful tool that simplifies data transformation and integration. And the best way to learn anything is by practice, right? So we will make this video here. We'll work together. Hopefully you can open up. You may watch it right now just to pay full attention, to grab as much as you can. And then my best suggestion would be to watch this video again. At the same time, open up your own blank spreadsheet and create some mock-up data sets and follow through these steps. Because you can watch it all, but unless you actually do it, you will not learn, or you will not retain, and you will not understand the power of it. So that would be my advice. Anyone, especially who's just stepping into these data analysis field, is watch it, but you may have to watch it a few more times and then do it along, side by side, so you can actually make those steps. And you'll make some mistakes. I mean, I still make some mistakes even nowadays, even though I've been doing this for literally over 15 years, but still it happens. But just practice makes you better. You will never gonna learn everything, right? There's always every single day you will learn something new. So my point is, don't just watch it, but watch it again and again and actually do it. That's the only time you will learn it. And the last, my always request is, please subscribe, help me grow my channel, and give me honest input, your comments, requests. If there are particular tutorial you would like me to work on, to make videos, I would love to, because that will, obviously, one thing, it's an engagement with me and my audience. At the same time, it shows that what is more valuable to you as a subscriber, and I would love to make videos about it. Who knows, maybe you come up with something that I myself don't even know about it. So then it will give me a challenge for me to learn and make video about it. And obviously, if I'm making video, I'll have to make sure what I'm talking about, I have some idea, right? So that's the goal here, learning together, building our knowledge base. So yeah, All right, so now let me switch to Excel file and let's actually do what we're talking about here. So I've opened a blank Excel file here. As we discussed, in this particular example, we will use two separate Excel files that have some sort of data. Of course, in order for us to join or merge two data sets, they should have something in common on both sides. So this is what we will be doing. So if I first, what you will do is go to Data tab. Let me zoom in a little bit because I've seen sometimes my screen is too small. And so let's see if this makes more sense. So here is on your ribbon, you see this Data tab. When you click on it, you have all these different options. You see how it says Get Data from Text, from Web. This is exactly what we were talking about. You can actually click on From Web and it will open up in a second and it will ask you, give us the URL from where would you like to import the data. You can do that. You can have from another database, right? So you may have a SQL server or some other database, you can do that. But right now, for our simplicity and from the way, as a basic, what we're going to do here is we will use two Excel files which have separate data, and then we'll be merging it here to understand the power of Power Query. So you click here, and I'll click here, and I will be taking two files which is saved on my computer. I've just saved them as a temporary sum. So one is the product info. So I'm clicking that one first, and I click, and it's going to start. See right here it says connecting. So it's building that connection to that particular file that is saved on my computer, and this is the sheet that have the data. So you see you got a little preview of the data here. I hope let me make it a little bit more bigger. Okay, so click on this transform data. This is your opportunity. If you remember the steps we said, clean the data, make sure transform the data, make sure it's in what you're looking for, or if you need to change the type of the column, etc. data type. So that's exactly what we're doing here. So you see, if we notice right here, the unit cost is supposed to be like a currency, right? So right now it's just simply a number. So you can click right here and it opens up and we can say currency. And then yes. So now this unit cost, you can see that the currency symbol came up. So now it's in the format of a currency. Everything else we can leave it as is for right now. What I would do is, for our simplicity, we can name this one. We can call it product, so we know what's our data source. All right. Then what you'll do next is you right here see new data source. You'll click on it, and I'm adding the next file. So again, my source is an Excel file. So I click on this thing. On my other screen, it opens up with the from my C drive. So I click on the sales order. That's my next one, and I'll click on import. Once I do this, now my second data source is loading right here, and this one is, so if you notice right here, the first one is, you can see it's product ID, product name, category. Everything in that table is about product. This one is my sales. You can see it have the quantity, the price, the total sales. And what is common on both sides? The product ID field. See right here is the product ID, and here is the product ID. So if you remember, we said one field have to be in common. So that's the field that we will use to make a connection, to join, however you like to say it. So that's our common field on both sides, product ID. So in here, what I will do the same thing, unit price and total sales. These two should be so I'll click OK here, and now it's bringing in that particular field right here, those tables so these two I will convert into currency, unit price, because it's a price, and the total sales, I will convert that into currency. Order date, it's already, you can see it's a calendar symbol is there. It means it's already in the date format, so we're good there. Now that's where the next, what I will do here, I can rename this to make out my, so I know what is my data source. I'll call it sales. So one was product, the other one is sales. Now, what do we do here? So we will click on this. Let's see. This see right here said merge queries. If you click on the down arrow, you have two options, merge queries or merge queries as new. So I will do merge queries as new. All right. So now you have this. So this is my first table here on the top. Sorry, I thought my recording stopped, so that's why I stopped. I apologize. I want to make sure everything what I'm talking is already not just wasted, because you never know, sometimes it happens. So here's the merge queries, and you will choose this merge queries as new. As you guys know, I'm not a professional or anything. I'm just sharing and learning as I'm going along. So I want to make sure everything I'm talking is still being recorded. So, all right, so that was the joke of the day. So good thing it's still recording. So everything what I said so far didn't go wasted. Woohoo! All right, so this is my sales table, right? And so what you can see, these are the columns from my sales table. I have them here. Now what I would want to do is join them or merge them with my product table. So the top is the sales, bottom is the product. What I'm saying is I would like to join them, but and these are my options of joining. Left outer join, basically all from first, matching from the second. Right outer join, again, so these are different options. And then full outer join, basically everything, even if there's nothing in common, those fields also give it to me. Inner join means only when those particular things matches, otherwise don't give me those. So for right now, for example, we leave it as left outer join. All right, and then what is the field? We said it's the product ID. So you'll click here that we're joining on product ID to product ID. We're saying, so if you notice, we have 1103, 1436 and same thing. So this is our joining field. This is the common identifier, in other words, between the two data sets we have here. One is sales, one is the product ID. So you'll do this and you click OK. Look what happened, right? So here you have order ID, order date, all these things. But if I click on this one, so you see right here, let me see if I can make it big. I'm not sure why this thing is circling. I was hoping I can make it bigger. All right, I hope you guys can see it. So this is this symbol of a table. So if you click here, it opened up like basically this is from here on, that's the second table, and you have all the columns we need. So we don't want to bring all the columns, right? We only care about the basically, I don't need stock quantity for this purpose. I don't need the unit cost, but I do need the we already doing my product ID is already part of it, so we don't need to have a duplicate of that column, but we would like to know what's the product name, category, and supplier. So basically we're saying these are the three attributes I would like to merge with the first one. So here we have, then once you have done this, so this is your merge table. You can name it anything you like, so final table, anything you would want to call your combination, that's for your reference. Then you click on close and load. Once you do this, you will see in a second that it created few tabs on the bottom. And look, so here's your product table. That was your first data set, everything about product. Second one is your sales table. That's everything about the sales. And then this is the one that you've created based on the Power Query. So you have order ID, date, product ID, quantity, unit price, total sales, and these are the ones we brought in from the product table. So you have these, and on the right hand side, if you notice, you have these product, sales, and your final table. If you guys remember, one of the things we talked about how efficiently once you set it up, you can make this data refresh automated. What does that mean? It means since these are linked files, right? So if you open up your product file wherever you have it saved and you add more data and you hit refresh, it will bring in those as well. So today we have only 500 rows. If I highlight here, or you can even read it here, it says 500 rows loaded. And you see on the see how it's was circling down here. So it's refreshing, and you can click this right here. You can hit refresh, and it will refresh your data with if you have new fields in it. It's also possible you may not have new fields. You may actually delete some, or you have the same number of rows of data, but maybe the values in that field, is changed. Could be anything. Let's say your source file, this information need to be updated. So you have update in your source file, and then once you hit refresh, you can actually hit even refresh from here. You hit refresh and everything gets refreshed. So that's what really the power of automation we talk about. You set it up once and you can literally just hit refresh, and all your things are refreshed based upon the thing. So that's really where you have right now created a joint database, the merged data set, however you want to call it. Initially you had two separate tables with two separate set of information, but due to the power of Power Query, you are able to merge them together, create one data set. Now if you need to, you can literally create your pivot table or any reporting based off of that, right? So now you initially, again, if I go back here you had the product information, so you knew what is the cost of a unit cost of a product, who the supplier is, what the category is, but you have no idea how much we sold. Here you knew how much we sold, what's our total sales is, on what date, but you have no idea what category this product ID is and who the supplier is. So you can see how important it was both information to be together. If you did not have Power Query, you probably would have been doing VLOOKUPs a lot of times or some other ways trying to figure out, and you can imagine the time it would take. You can imagine the chances of error, and look how easily with this Power Query you're able to put them together, and now you can build your reporting on. So let's say you would like to see your category, product category, and then how much total sales you have done. There you go. What about on a which day how much you've been doing it? So here's your order date. You put them here, and you can see it got. So this is where again you can play around. Maybe you just want to know per quarter how much. So here you go. You can see each quarter by category. So how much book sales you've done each quarter, and this is where we talk about again. We can in your pivot table you can convert it into a currency, round it up to the nearest dollar, and you have this. And then again, you have seen this in my previous videos. You can actually create some charts, right? Really quick, convert them into meaningful, very appealing visualization that can give anybody who's looking on a very, really quickly see some kind of trending. Oh, you know what? Okay, the books, and these are your quarters, right? So different quarters, how much they've been doing it. What if you wanted to not buy the product category, but buy a supplier? So you put it here. So you can see how by each supplier have we been doing by the quarter. You may want it to have it by, yes, because I have it much, let me put them here. So because I had it by the dates, because I removed the quarter part, so now it's daily. So many different things you can do. Of course, I have to refresh this, and you can see how far it's going, so it will just get messy. So those, but here's the thing: if we do this and put order date again, yeah, because it's saying there's a limitation of 255. I totally forgot about that. Apologies. So it would go too big. So right now it's consolidated into quarter or by the year or month. So what if instead of quarter you want to look at by monthly? So there you go. So the point here is you can do, let's do this and bring it back to the category again. So So many different ways you can slice and dice the data. But in this particular one, the video is not about creating charts or creating pivot table. We have covered those in the previous videos. If you want to learn more about creating pivot tables, I have a video already on my channel. I would recommend watching that one. But this one, we're talking about the power, it's funny, power of Power Query. So here you can see how easily, due to the Power Query, you've done this. And once you have built all these things, let's say again, here comes the power automation part that we touched upon a little bit earlier. Once you have done this thing, you built your reporting, you got it there. Now you have a new data set comes in into your product or sales data. And so let's say right now you have it for this year. What if you got another year of data comes into here? You don't have to do anything because you already set it up. Once your files have this data, all you gotta do is hit refresh and that will take care of it, right? So hit refresh. Once your other two data, so see how it's circling, it's refreshing. Once that's done, and then you can, and it right here says refresh all. So you hit refresh all, see how everything refreshed. And if there was some new rows of data came in or even the values have changed, all this thing would have been refreshed just by click. And this is where we were talking about how important it is and how crucial this Power Query plays a role it plays into automation and saving you time and effort by setting it up one time. So that's what the Power Query is. And like I said in my every single videos, if somebody, hopefully some of you watch me on all my videos, that I say this thing to everything. This is not everything. This is just literally the tip of the iceberg. There's so much you can do. So many things can be done. The goal here on these beginners video is not to show or not to cover every single functionality. It's the idea here is to basic. If you have only heard about Power Query, to get you at least understand, oh, okay, I've heard about Power Query. This is what it is. This is what it can do. From there on, the more practice you'll do, the more what if scenarios, okay, what if, because this is what happens, right? Once you get some idea, then things start coming to your mind. Oh, wow, what if I do this? What if I do that? And this is really where you will see the power of you expanding your knowledge base, expanding your experience and learning and trying to figure out what else can be done. So I really hope this helps. I appreciate. We'll stop right here. Again, please like, subscribe my channel, share it with your friends and family or anybody who you can think of that this information can be beneficial. I really appreciate it. Leave your comments and let me know your input, I guess. I'm always looking for input, any advice from me to make things better, because obviously from no angle that I'm perfect in any way. I'm still learning. You saw for a minute I panicked earlier that is it even, because usually that thing, the timer thing is on my top of the screen, but I wasn't seeing it. So I was like, oh, is it even recording? But thank God it was recording. So let me stop my video here and I'll talk to you guys on my next video. Take care.